Okay, man, settle in. This is, well, it's a story, I guess, about the craziest night of my life and everything that came after. Grab a coffee or something, 'cause it's a bit wild. You know how much I put into things, right? Like, when I decide to do something, I go all in. Especially for Emily. 4 years we'd been married. 4 years I'd basically built my world around her. So her 30th birthday had to be perfect. It was my idea, every single bit of it. Every dollar spent, every late night staring at spreadsheets and Pinterest boards. I wanted her to feel like she was the only person on earth that night. We had this place, a penthouse downtown. Not cheap, man, but the view, insane. Overlooked the river, all lit up, breathtaking. Ordered a cake so big it needed its own table. This huge sugary tower, chocolate and vanilla swirl, just how she likes it. And a bubbly fountain, you know, the kind you see in cheesy movies. Glasses stacked up, glittering under the lights I paid extra to have strung everywhere. Seriously. And flowers. I got these exotic ones flown in from somewhere halfway across the world because she mentioned them once, ages ago. Said they were her dream bouquet. Cost a bomb, yeah, but I didn't care. This was her night. 70 people were there, friends, family, people we'd known forever. I stood there in my best suit, feeling proud. Like, yeah, I did this. This is for her. She looked amazing too. In this dress we picked out months ago. Her hair was catching the light just right. And I remember thinking, this is it. This is what it's about. Making her happy. Then she went for the microphone. I figured, okay, she'll say something sweet. Thank everyone for coming. Maybe thank me for pulling it all together. You know, the usual stuff. Instead, she raises her glass, smiles this big, dazzling smile, and starts talking about Mark Jenkins. My guiding light, she called him, loud and clear, over the music and the chatter. The one who's been there for me through the toughest times. My smile just froze, stuck on my face. Mark, this guy from her work. She'd mentioned him a few times, real casual, like, oh, Mark said this, or Mark helped with that. Never thought twice about it. My chest felt tight, like someone was sitting on it, but I told myself, breathe, just breathe. She'll get to me next. She has to. She didn't. Instead, she turned to me, and she had this look, man. Not sweet, not grateful. This little smirk, like she was about to drop the punchline to the funniest joke in the world. She held out a gift bag, small, light. For you, honey, she said. A few people chuckled awkwardly, like it was some cute inside joke. I opened it, expecting, I don't know, a tie, a watch, something normal, right? But no. Inside was a folded black t-shirt, fancy brand even. I pulled it out, held it up, and there it was, in huge, bold white letters. Divorced. The room just went quiet, like someone hit the mute button for a second. Then a few nervous laughs trickled out, and she just grinned, like she'd just won some stand-up comedy award. Like it was the most hilarious, edgy thing she'd ever done. My hands were shaking. I stood there holding this shirt that basically summed up the last 4 years of my life. All the compromises, all the late nights, all the times I put her first. And she thought this was funny. My throat felt like it was closing up. And man, I felt every single one of those 70 pairs of eyes on me, waiting. I could have lost it, yelled, thrown the shirt back in her face and stormed off. Believe me, the urge was there, but I didn't. I just set the bag down, real carefully, reached into my pocket and pulled out the small box. Inside was the diamond necklace, the one I'd saved up for. Took me months. It was gold, delicate, expensive. Her real gift. I placed it on the table next to the cake, right where everyone could see it. Didn't say a word, didn't make a fuss, just turned around and walked out. The night air hit me like a punch when I stepped outside, cold and sharp. My tie was flapping in the wind, but I didn't stop. I just walked. Heard the party noise fade behind me, the confused murmurs, the clink of glasses. Kept walking, my shoes clicking on the pavement. My heart was hammering so hard I seriously thought it might crack a rib. I didn't know where I was going. Not yet. But I knew one thing. I wasn't going back in there, not for her, not for anyone. That t-shirt wasn't a joke, it was a statement, and I wasn't about to stand there and take it. The valet guy barely had time to ask for my ticket when I turned around. I hadn't even made it 10 steps from the building. My hands were clenched into fists. The necklace. I left the necklace sitting there like a trophy for her little stunt, and that damn shirt. Divorced. It was like it was burned into my eyelids. I couldn't leave it like that. Couldn't let her have the last word after she'd just eviscerated me in front of everyone. So I went back, my feet just moved, back through the glass doors. The party noise hit me again. Laughter, music, like nothing had happened. I didn't look at anyone. Not her friends, not mine, not the waiters. Just walked straight to the table. Cake, flowers, and the necklace gleaming under the lights. I grabbed. The cool metal felt heavy in my palm, shoved it into my pocket. Nobody said a word. A few heads turned, eyes wide, but nobody tried to stop me. Maybe they were just too stunned, maybe they didn't care. Didn't matter. I was done. Walked out again, this time for good. The valet had my car ready. A black coupe I bought a couple years back. One of the few things I insisted on keeping when she wanted that big, expensive SUV. Slid into the driver's seat, slammed the door. Just sat there for a minute, staring at the dashboard lights. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Ignored it. Engine rumbled to life, pulled out onto the street. City lights blurring past like they weren't real. About 5 minutes later, it started. First call. Phone lit up on the passenger seat. Her name. Didn't pick up. It rang out. Went silent. Lit up again and again. By the time I hit the highway, it was non-stop. Buzz, 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 her name, missed call notifications stacking up. I glanced at it once, just long enough to see the number climbing. 10, 20, 50, kept driving. The road ahead was dark and empty. Hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles were white. What did she want? To apologize, to explain the joke, to laugh some more. I didn't care. Not anymore. The phone kept going, relentless, like she thought she could just wear me down, begging me to come back or something. I pulled into my usual parking spot outside the apartment building, my apartment now. Checked the screen. 210 missed calls, all from her. I turned the phone off. The silence hit me hard. Sat there in the dark, engine ticking as it cooled down, and something just clicked inside me. This wasn't just about the party, wasn't just about walking out that shirt, those calls, her thanking Mark instead of me. It was the end, the real end. Years of bending over backwards, of putting her first, of thinking if I just tried harder, she'd see me the way I saw her. And for what? To be the punchline, grabbed my keys, stepped out. The cold air bit at my face again. The building loomed above me, quiet, familiar, but it didn't feel like home anymore. Just a place, like something I'd outgrown without even noticing. Didn't know what came next, where I'd go, what I'd do. But I knew one thing, wasn't answering those calls. Not tonight, not ever. I'd left the party, yeah, but I'd left the marriage, too. And she could keep calling all she wanted. I was already gone. Woke up the next morning on a lumpy couch at Ben's place, his spare room. Smelled like old coffee and, well, Ben. My suit jacket was on the floor, all crumpled. My tie was draped over a chair like a dead snake. I'd driven straight there last night. Phone still off. 210 missed calls locked away in the dark. Ben didn't ask much when I showed up. Just opened the door, looked at me, grabbed a beer from the fridge, handed it to me, and let me crash on the couch. Good guy, Ben. Sunlight was slicing through the blinds now, hitting the bare walls. Lay there staring at the ceiling, trying to piece together what the hell had happened to my life. Ben shuffled in, hair a mess, carrying 2 mugs of coffee. Set one on the table next to me, steam curling up. Sat down in an armchair that groaned. Under him. "You don't come back from something like that," he said, quietly, like he'd already processed it. Didn't answer right away, just took the coffee. Mug was warm in my hands. Let his words sink in. He was right. I knew it the second she handed me that t-shirt. Divorced, like it was a funny little present, but it wasn't just the shirt, was it? It was everything before that. All the little things I'd ignored. Because I loved her. Because that's what you do when you're married, right? You stick it out, took a sip of the coffee, bitter, strong. My mind just started replaying it all. The time she asked me to move cities for her job, remember? I left a good job here, packed up our whole life, just followed her. Because she said it would be worth it. Then the promotions I turned down because they meant more travel, and she didn't like that. "We're a team," she'd say, and I'd nod. Made sense at the time. Vacations too. Skipped them. Worked. Extra shifts. So she could go chase her dreams, fly off to conferences. Build her career, never complained. Figured that was my role, be the steady one. While she shined. And she did shine, man. People loved her. Her laugh, her charm. The way she could light up a room. I loved that about her too. But last night, under those lights I paid for, she lit up for someone else. Mark Jenkins, her guiding light, not me. Set the mug down, hands still shaky from the night before, looked at Ben. "I gave her everything," I said. Voice was rough, like I hadn't used it in ages. He just nodded, leaned back in the chair. "Yeah, man. And she gave you a t-shirt. Ouch. But true." Thought about the party again. 70 people, watching her toast Mark, watching her hand me that bag. What did they think? Did they laugh because they agreed with her? Felt sorry for me? Or just didn't care? I'd spent so long trying to make her happy, make us work, and in one night she turned me into a punchline. The spare room felt smaller then. Walls closing in, got up, paced to the window. Outside, the city was waking up, cars honking, people rushing to work. My life used to feel like that. Busy, purposeful, moving forward. Now, just me. Standing still, holding a coffee mug, and a bruised ego. Ben watched me, sipping his coffee. Didn't push me to talk. Didn't need to. Known him since college. He gets it. "What now?" he asked finally. Breaking the silence. Didn't have an answer. Not yet. But as I stared out at the river and the buildings, something shifted. I wasn't the guy who waited around anymore. The one who nodded and smiled while she called the shots. That guy. He walked out last night. The necklace was still in my pocket. Felt the weight of it against my leg. A reminder of what I'd taken back. Maybe Ben was right. You don't come back from something like that. But maybe you don't have to. Maybe you just keep walking. Figure out who you are when you're not standing in someone else's spotlight. Turned back to him, jaw tight. "I'm done being disposable," I said. He raised his mug. "Good. About time." Didn't. Turned my phone back on for 2 days after the party. Those 210 missed calls just sat there, waiting. But I wasn't ready. Not ready for her. Not ready for any of it. Stayed at Ben's. Slept on that creaky couch. Woke up to the sound of his coffee maker gurgling. It was quiet there. Simple. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I had to be anywhere or do anything for someone else, but couldn't hide forever. Had a life to sort out, a marriage to end, and I wasn't about to let it drag on. Made a call. Not to her, to Sarah Collins. Heard about her through a guy at work. Lawyer, sharp, tough, didn't mess around. Met her at her office downtown. Small place, big windows, piles of files everywhere. She didn't smile much, just shook my hand. Got straight to it. "What's your goal?" "Here?" she asked. Pen poised over a notepad, leaned back in the chair. The necklace still felt heavy in my pocket, like a stone. "I want out," I said. "Clean, quiet, no drama." She nodded, like she'd heard it 1,000 times. "Good. I don't do loud divorces, waste of time. Liked her already, told her about the party. The t-shirt, Mark, everything." She didn't flinch, just scribbled notes, asked questions. How long we'd been married, what we owned, who paid for what. Told her I'd covered most of it. The apartment, the cars, the party itself. She raised an eyebrow, didn't comment. By the end of the hour, she had a plan. "We'll file quietly," she said. "No public mess. You keep what's yours. She keeps what's hers. If she fights, we'll deal with it." Trusted her. She had this edge. Like she'd seen too many marriages fall apart to care about the theatrics. For her, it was business. For me, it was survival. Left her office feeling lighter, like I'd handed over a weight I hadn't even realized I was carrying. That night, I moved back into the apartment. Our apartment. Though it didn't feel like ours anymore. She wasn't there. Probably at her sister's or something. Licking her wounds because I didn't answer her calls. Didn't care where she was. Just wanted my space back. Next morning, went to work. Took a day off after the party, but now I was ready. My job isn't glamorous, project management for some tech company, but I'm good at it. Walked in, past the cubicles, the coffee machine, sat at my desk. Inbox was a mess, didn't mind. Started sorting through emails, flagging urgent ones, setting up meetings. Felt good, focusing on something I could control. Around noon, my boss Frank stopped by, big guy, loud voice. Always wore ties that didn't quite match. "You're back," he said, leaning against my desk. "Heard you had a rough weekend." Shrugged. "Something like that." He didn't push, just tapped the folder he was holding. "Got a new client. Tough one. You want it?" Looked up at him. Normally I'd hesitate. Big clients meant long hours, and she always hated when I worked late, but she wasn't here now. "Yeah," I said. "I'll take it." Frank grinned. "That's what I like to hear." The rest of the day flew by. Dug into the project. Some startup, needing a whole system overhaul. Lost myself in the details. Spreadsheets, timelines, budgets. It was messy, complicated, exactly what I needed. By the time I left, the sun was gone. My head was clear. Stopped answering her texts that week. They started after the calls stopped. Short ones at first. "Where are you? We need to talk." Then longer, rambling ones. How she didn't mean it. It was just a joke. Didn't reply. Sarah had the papers ready by Friday. Signed them in her office. Hand was steady on the pen. It wasn't about revenge, wasn't even about her anymore. It was about me. Taking back the life I'd let slip away. Frank called me into his office that afternoon. "You're killing it," he said. "Seriously. Keep this up, we're talking promotion." Nodded. Small smile. First time in years I felt like I was actually moving forward. Not for her, not for us, but for me. Started running every morning. Before the sun came up, when the city was still half asleep, and the streets felt like they were just mine, wasn't something I planned. Just woke up one day at Ben's, head buzzing with everything, and just Decided I needed to move. Pulled on some old sneakers, a t-shirt, shorts I hadn't worn in years. Hit the pavement. First mile was brutal. Lungs burned. Legs felt like lead. Thought about turning back but didn't. Just kept going. One step after another. Cold air biting at my face. By the time I got back to Ben's, sweat was dripping, chest heaving, like I'd fought a war. It hurt, yeah, but it felt good. Like I was shaking off pieces of the guy I used to be. I'd spent so long sitting still, waiting for her to notice me, to need me, that I forgot what it felt like to push myself. After that, it became a routine. Up at 5, out the door by 5:15, running through the dark until the sky turned grey. Mile after mile, shedding the weight of it all, the party, the shirt, the years of saying yes when I should have said no. Moved out of Ben's that week, back into the apartment full-time. She still wasn't there. Didn't ask where she'd gone. Sarah had served her the divorce papers by then, so maybe she was laying low, figuring out her next move. Didn't care. Started changing things. Threw out those awful throw pillows she picked, the ones I always hated. Replaced them with a plain grey blanket. Rearranged the furniture. Made the living room feel like mine. Wasn't just about the space though. It was about me. Set up a corner by the window. Small desk, lamp, stack of notebooks. Started writing things down. Ideas, plans. Stuff I'd always wanted to do but never had the time. Or the guts. Vision boards came next. Pinned them up on the wall. Pictures of places I wanted to see. Bali, London. Projects I wanted to tackle. Wasn't just rebuilding a room. I was rebuilding myself. Work got intense, but I loved it. That client Frank gave me, a nightmare. Demanding, picky, always changing their mind, but I handled it. Late nights at the office turned into early mornings running. Then back to the desk with coffee. Was tired, yeah, but it was the good kind of tired. The kind that comes from doing something for yourself. One day, got a call from Alex, kid I met at some networking thing a year back, young, maybe 25, big ideas. No clue how to make them happen. Got this startup, he said, voice fast and excited. Me and my buddy Omar, we need help. Met them at a cafe downtown. Sticky tables, waitresses who call you honey. Alex had wild hair and a laptop covered in stickers. Omar was quieter, scribbling numbers on a napkin. They pitched me their idea, a delivery app for small local businesses, something real. It was rough, raw, but it had potential. Look, I told them, I'm not a tech guy, but I can get you organized, set up a plan. They grinned like I just handed them $1 million. Started meeting them once a week, went over budgets, timelines, talked them through the chaos, wasn't paid, didn't matter, felt good to help, to build something from scratch. One night, after a long session with them, I sat at my desk in the apartment, staring at the vision board. Had a picture of a beach in Bali, a skyscraper in London, a sketch of a house I always wanted. Grabbed a pin, added something new. Invest in Alex and Omar. Wasn't just about the money, wanted a stake in their dream. Wanted to see it grow. The runs kept me sane every morning, pushed a little harder, went a little farther. My body changed, shoulders got broader, legs stronger, but it was more than that. Stopped feeling like the guy who stood there holding that divorced it shirt. Stopped waiting for her to call, to apologize, to make it right. She didn't matter anymore. The apartment wasn't a war room yet, but it was getting there. Plans, ideas. The life I was making for me. I'd taken back the necklace that night, but now I was taking back everything else. And it felt damn good. Was sitting in my office one afternoon, sun slanting through the blinds, when my phone buzzed. Text from an old friend, Mike. Not close to her, not really, but ran in the same circles. Figured he'd heard stuff. "You okay, man?" it read. "Heard she's not doing so hot." Didn't reply right away. Leaned back in my chair. The hum of the office around me, phones ringing, keyboards clicking, thought about it. Not doing so hot. Good. Didn't wish her harm, but wasn't about to cry over her either. I'd been pouring everything into my own life lately. Work, running, Alex and Omar's startup, and I felt stronger than I had in years. If she was stumbling, that was on her. Mike texted again about an hour later. "Mark quit. She's scrambling at work." That got my attention. Mark Jenkins, her guiding light. The guy she toasted at the party while I stood there like an idiot holding that shirt. He'd resigned. Didn't know the details. Mike didn't either, just said it was sudden, but I could picture it. She leaned on him, built her whole image around him at work, maybe. And now he was gone. Didn't smile. Didn't feel bad either. Went back to my spreadsheet. Numbers blurred for a second before I refocused. Work was my anchor now. Frank had me leading 2 more projects, big ones. And the word promotion kept floating around. Stayed late that night, office emptied out. Just me and the glow of my computer screen. Liked the quiet. Gave me room to think. Next day, another friend, Sarah, different Sarah, called. She was closer. To her. One of those mutual connections I hadn't cut off yet. She tried a podcast, Sarah said, voice hesitant, like she wasn't sure I'd want to hear. It tanked. 1 episode. People hated it. Was driving home. Phone on speaker. City lights streaking past. "Huh," I said. Kept it short. Sarah kept going. "She's posting online again too, trying to get her followers back. But it's not working. People keep bringing up the party." Gripped the wheel a little tighter. "The party?" That damn t-shirt. Didn't say much. Just let Sarah talk until she trailed off. "Thanks for the update," I said. Hung up. Didn't need to hear more. She was falling apart, piece by piece. Wasn't surprised. She'd always been good at shining when things were easy. When someone else, me, Mark, whoever, was holding her up. Now the props were gone. And she didn't know how to stand. Meanwhile, my life was taking off. Frank called me into his office a week later, slapped a folder on his desk. "You're speaking at a seminar next month," he said. "Local business thing, they asked for you." Blinked. "Me?" He laughed. That big booming sound of his. "Yeah, you. You're killing it lately. People notice." Walked out of there feeling 10 feet tall. A seminar wasn't huge, but it was mine. Something I'd earned. Then came the big one. Email landed in my inbox from a guy I met at a conference years back. Some hotshot professor type. "We're hosting a business summit in Singapore," it said. "Love for you to guest lecture. Your name's been coming up." Singapore. Stared at the screen. Words sinking in. I'd gone from the guy who paid for her party to the guy getting invites halfway across the world. Said yes, obviously. That night, met Alex and Omar at the cafe again. Their app was moving slow. Messy, but moving. And I'd put some saved up cash into it, a small chunk. "You're like our secret weapon," Alex said, grinning over his fries. Omar nodded, quieter, but just as excited. Felt useful, needed. In a way, I hadn't with her. Back at the apartment, added Singapore to my vision board. Right next to Bali and the house sketch. The runs kept me steady. Every morning, pounding the pavement, breath fogging into the cool air. Was up to 7 miles now, body leaner, mind sharper. She was fading. Her job, her podcast, her online clout. And I was rising. Seminars, lectures, startups. The world that used to spin around her was turning towards me, and I wasn't looking back. Didn't hate her, didn't even think about her much. But knowing she was struggling while I was climbing, that felt like justice, quiet and clean, the kind I didn't have to fight for, was sorting through some old files in the apartment one evening. Lamp casting a warm glow over my desk. Found it. An envelope tucked between tax returns and some random receipts. Wasn't from Sarah, wasn't official, handwritten. Her familiar loopy script spelling out my name on the front. Froze for a second, fingers hovering over it. Hadn't heard from her in weeks. Not since the texts stopped and the papers were signed. Part of me wanted to just toss it straight in the trash, unopened, but curiosity got the better of me. Slid it out. Paper was crisp, heavy. Unfolded it. 4 pages of her words staring back at me. Sat down. Chair creaked. Started reading. "I didn't mean it," she wrote first, her pen pressing hard into the paper. Like she needed me to feel it. The t-shirt was supposed to be funny, a stupid joke. I didn't think you'd leave. Stop there, jaw tightened. A joke, that's what she called it. Even now, 70 people watching. Mark smirking beside her. Me holding that divorced shirt. Like some prop in her little comedy show kept going. She filled the pages with apologies, excuses, memories. "Remember that beach trip 2 years ago," she wrote. "You carried me through the sand when I twisted my ankle. We were good then." Yeah, we were. Remember that day, sunburned, laughing, her, clinging to my back as waves crashed around us. But that was before. Before the moves, the sacrifices, the slow drift where I became the guy who paid for things while she chased her spotlight, she went on. Tone shifting, softer. "I miss you. I didn't realize how much I needed you until you were gone." Set the letter down for a minute, staring at the wall. Needed me. She needed me to plan her party, to fund her dreams, to stand there while she thanked Mark, but me, the real me, not the husband who said yes to everything. She hadn't needed that guy in a long time. Picked it back up, flipped to the last page. "I'm sorry," she wrote, over and over like a chant. "I messed up, I want to fix it." Fix it? Almost laughed. What was there to fix? The marriage was done, papers signed, apartment split, her stuff gone. She handed me that t-shirt. Thought I'd just shrug it off, come back, keep playing my role, read it all once, start to finish. Folded it neatly in half, didn't rip it up, or burn it, like some dramatic movie scene. Just opened the drawer next to my desk, the one with my passport, my birth certificate, a few old photos, slid it in there. Wasn't trash, not exactly, was a record, proof of who I'd been, who she'd been, what we'd lost, but it didn't change anything. Wasn't writing back, wasn't calling her. I'd spent years waiting for her to see me, to say something like this, and now that she had, it didn't matter. The words were too late, too hollow. Got up, grabbed a glass of water, stood by the window, looking out at the city lights. The vision board was pinned up nearby. Singapore, Bali, Alex and Omar's startup. That's where my head was now. Not in her letter, not in the past. Thought about the party again. That smirk on her face when she handed me the bag. She hadn't meant it. Bull. She meant every second of it. Meant to show off. To flex her new life with Mark in front of everyone. And now, with him gone, her career slipping, she was scrambling. Reaching back for the safety net I'd always been. I wasn't that guy anymore. Next morning ran my usual route. Air was crisp and sharp in my lungs. 7 miles turned into 8. Legs pumping harder, mind clear. Didn't think about the letter, thought about the seminar next week, the lecture in Singapore, the app launching with Alex and Omar. When I got back, showered, dressed, headed to work. Frank stopped me in the hall, grinning. "You're on fire lately," he said. "Keep it up," nodded. Felt the weight of it, not her weight, not anymore, but mine. The letter stayed in the drawer. A ghost I didn't need to fight. She could miss me all she wanted. I was done missing her. Started writing one night after a long day at work, sitting at my desk, beer in hand, city humming outside. Wasn't planned. Just grabbed a notebook, let my thoughts spill out. At first it was messy, raw, all about the party, the t-shirt, those 210 missed calls. Wrote about how it felt to stand there, humiliated, while she smirked, and the room laughed. Wrote about walking out, taking the necklace back, driving away. Wasn't for anyone else, just me. A way to get it out of my head and onto paper. But the more I wrote, the more it turned into something else. Wasn't just about her, or us. It was about what came after. Running, every morning, rebuilding my life, saying no to the old me. The one who waited around for her approval, filled pages with it, night after night, words piling up. Like bricks in a wall I was building around myself. One evening after a run, I typed it all into my laptop. Felt different seeing it on the screen. Cleaner, sharper, didn't know why. But I hit publish, on some random blog site, no name attached. Just some anonymous guy's story. Called it 210 missed calls, not because I wanted her to see it, but because it fit. Then forgot about it. A week later, checked the site. Comments, dozens of them. "This is my life," one said. Felt every word. Another. People I didn't know, from places I'd never been. Reading it, connecting to it. Sat there staring at the screen, heart thumping. It wasn't just my story anymore. It was theirs too, kept writing. Every few days, post something new. How I started running to feel alive again. How work became my lifeline. How I stopped caring what she thought. The blog grew. Hundreds of views turned into thousands. Emails started coming in, people thanking me, asking questions. "How did you move on?" one asked. "What do you do when you feel stuck?" another wrote. Answered them, not as some expert, but as me. Someone who'd been there, who'd figured it out, one step at a time. It wasn't about her falling apart, or me getting revenge. It was about choosing myself. About waking up every day and building something new. One morning over coffee with Ben, told him about it. "It's a blog," I said, shrugging, like it was no big deal. "People seem to like it." He raised an eyebrow, smirking. "You're a writer now, Mr. Big Shot?" Laughed. "No, just a guy with a laptop." But it was more than that. Next week, a woman stopped me at a coffee shop downtown. "Are you the 210 guy?" she asked, eyes wide. Froze, cup halfway to my mouth. Maybe?" She smiled. "I read your stuff. Got me through my breakup. Thank you." Didn't know what to say, just nodded. Mumbled something about being glad it helped. She walked away and I sat there, stunned. It was real now, not just words on a screen. People were finding me, recognizing me. The blog turned into a movement. Started a newsletter, a social media page. 210 missed calls became a thing. Readers called it that, shared it, made it their own. Companies reached out, asking me to speak, to write for them. Said yes to a few small gigs at first. Like a local workshop where I talked about rebuilding after betrayal. 50 people showed up, hanging on my words, clapping when I finished. Then bigger ones came, panels, podcasts, a guest post for a magazine. Wasn't anonymous anymore. Put my name on it, owned it. Alex and Omar got in on it too. "Oh, you should brand this," Alex said one night at the cafe. His laptop opened to the app's latest numbers. "T-shirts, man. Not divorced. Something better." Laughed. But he was serious, tossed ideas around, and I liked it. Not for money, but for meaning. Rebuilt, I said finally. "That's the word." They nodded, and a week later I had a prototype, a black shirt, simple white letters. Rebuilt. It wasn't about her. It was about me, about everyone who'd read the blog and found their way back. The movement grew, and I grew with it. Wasn't just the guy who walked out anymore, was the guy who kept going. It was pouring rain one evening when I heard the knock on my apartment door. Was in the middle of tuning my guitar. Something I'd picked up again after years of letting it gather dust. The sound was sharp, insistent. 3 quick raps. Over the drumming of water against the windows, set the guitar down. Stomach tightening, for no reason I could name. Walked over, opened the door. There she was. No umbrella, no coat, just her. Standing there, soaked to the bone, hair clinging to her face, mascara streaking down her cheeks, and for a second, I didn't recognize her. Not the polished version I'd known, the one who'd smirked at me under those party lights. She looked small, fragile, like the rain had washed away everything she used to be. "Can I come in?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Didn't say anything at first, just stepped aside, let her walk past me. She dripped onto the floor, leaving little puddles by the couch. Didn't care about that, shut the door, turned to face her. Arms crossed, waiting. She didn't sit, just stood there, hugging herself, like she was cold. "I miss you," she said finally, eyes locked on mine. We were good. Didn't move, didn't blink. The words hung there, heavy and wet, but they didn't hit. Me, not like they might have once, no. I said, my voice was steady, quiet. "I was good. You were lucky." She flinched, like I'd slapped her. And then the tears came, quiet at first, then louder, shoulders shaking. "I messed up," she said, between sobs. "I know that. The party, Mark, all of it. I was stupid. I didn't mean to lose you." Watched her. This woman I'd loved for years, crying in my living room, and I waited to feel something. Anger, pity, anything. But it didn't come. I'd already felt it all. The hurt, the betrayal, the slow burn of realizing I'd been invisible to her. I'd mourned months ago. Mile by mile on those morning runs, page by page in my blog, she kept going, words tumbling out. "I thought I could do it without you. The job, the podcast, everything. It's gone now. Mark left, and I'm drowning. And I need you." There it was again, need. She needed me now when her world was falling apart, when the spotlight she'd chased had flickered out, stepped closer, not to comfort her, but to make sure she heard me. "You didn't need me when you handed me that t-shirt," I said. "You didn't need me when you thanked him instead of me. You don't get to need me now." Her face crumpled. She sank onto the couch, hands covering her eyes. I didn't sit, stood there looking down at her. Saw it all, the party, the calls, the letter she sent. This was her last play, her final shot at pulling me back. But I wasn't that guy anymore. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Over and over, like it could change something, didn't say anything else. What was there to say? She'd made her choice that night, and I'd made mine when I walked out. The rain kept pounding outside, a steady roar, filling the silence between us. After a while she stood up, wiping her face with her sleeve. "I'll go," she said, her voice small, nodded, opened the door, watched her step back into the storm. She didn't look back, just disappeared into the dark. The rain swallowing her up, shut the door, locked it. Stood there for a minute, listening to the quiet. It was over. Really over. Not the divorce, not the papers, but the part of me that still wondered if she'd come around. She had, and it didn't matter. Later that night, called Ben. "You free?" I asked. He was. Grabbed my guitar, headed to his place. The rain had slowed to a drizzle by then. Streets slick and shiny under the streetlights. Ended up on his rooftop. The city sprawling out below us. Damp air cool against my skin. Played a few chords. He tapped a beat on the railing. Didn't talk about her, didn't need to. The music filled the space, rough, simple, and for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. Not the loud kind, but the quiet, steady kind that settles in your bones. She was gone, and I was still here. Stood backstage in Paris, the hum of the crowd seeping through the heavy curtain. My hands were steady, but my heart was thumping just a little faster than usual. It was a year to the day since that night. The party, the t-shirt, the moment I walked out and took my life back. Now I was here, in a sleek conference center, halfway across the world, about to give a keynote speech to a packed auditorium. Rebuilding. After Betrayal, they called it, and my name was on the program in bold letters, adjusted my tie, smoothed my jacket, took a deep breath. The stage manager gave me a nod, stepped out into the lights. The applause hit me like a wave. Hundreds of faces looking up, waiting, walked to the mic. The click of my shoes loud. For a second I saw it all again. The penthouse, her smirk, that divorced shirt in my hands. Then I smiled. I once paid for a birthday party where I received a t-shirt labeled "Divorced," I started. My voice was clear, strong. The crowd laughed, a soft ripple, but I didn't pause. 5 minutes later I took back the gift I gave her, and my entire life with it. They went quiet then, leaning in, and I kept going. Told them about the 210 missed calls. How I left that night and didn't look back. Talked about the runs at dawn, the late nights at work, the blog that turned into a movement. Didn't mention her name, didn't need to. This wasn't about her anymore. It was about me, about the people in that room who'd been broken and built themselves back up. Told them how I signed the papers with Sarah, how I poured myself into Alex and Omar's startup, how I stood on Ben's rooftop playing guitar in the rain. Betrayal doesn't end you, I said, looking out at them. It's a door, you decide if you walk through it. The words flowed, easy and true, and when I finished, the applause roared, loud, long, thundering through the hall. Stepped back, chest tight, but not with pain, with something else. Pride, maybe, or just the weight of knowing I'd made it. Backstage, people swarmed me, organizers, attendees. A guy with a podcast mic asking for a quick interview. Said yes to him, to a few others. Shaking hands, smiling, feeling the energy of it all. Later, sat in my hotel room, the Paris skyline glittering outside. Pulled out my phone, scrolled through the blog comments. New ones from that day. People who'd been in the audience. "You changed my life," one wrote. "I'm walking through that door," said another. Set the phone down, leaned back, the quiet settling in. A year ago, I'd been the guy who paid for everything. The cake, the flowers, her dreams. Only to walk away with nothing but a t-shirt and a bruised ego now was here, speaking in Paris with Singapore behind me. More invites piling up. Alex and Omar's app launched last month. Wore the rebuilt shirt at their party, grinning as they toasted me. Ben texted me this morning. "1 year, man, you're a legend." Didn't feel like a legend. Felt like me. Stronger, sure, but still the guy who liked coffee too bitter and runs too long. The necklace was still in my desk drawer back home, next to her letter, but hadn't looked at it in months. Didn't matter anymore. She didn't matter. Heard through Sarah, the friend, she'd moved somewhere new, started over, didn't ask for details. That chapter was closed. Got up, poured a glass of water, stood by the window, the city sprawling out below me, the horizon stretched wide, endless. And I thought about what came next. More speeches, maybe a book, helping Alex and Omar grow their business. The blog was a brand now. 210 missed calls, a rallying cry for people like me, who'd turned pain into power. I'd answered one call that night, the one I made to myself when I walked away. Wasn't about revenge, never had been. It was about reinvention, about choosing to keep going. When the world expects you to fall, the crowd's applause still echoed in my head. Not for her, not for us, but for me. Raised my glass to the skyline, a silent toast, to the man I'd become and knew I'd never stop walking forward. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to follow the channel for more deep and meaningful stories.